Good morning and welcome to Beyond the Lines podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Watson, on this wonderful special New Year's Eve edition. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. I did say that I was not going to come on here again without curling my hair. I did say that and came on here, maybe it was the last time, and also did not curl my hair and it like looked fine and it was fine. I'm sort of regretting that a little bit, so bear with me, but welcome, and happy New Year. We made it. If you're watching this, you made it. If you're joining us now, please like and subscribe. If you're watching it on the replay, please like and subscribe. We are streaming to, let's see here. Hopefully I didn't screw myself by putting the word fascism in the in the title. We'll see. It's a surprise. And yeah, so we're streaming to YouTube, to Rumble, and actually to X. So we'll see. Welcome. Yes. So we do have sort of a provocative topic today, I guess, the headline, as it suggests. Not your grandfather's fascism. Super enticing, huh? Yeah. So, so we can get to it. We also have here on the docket, let's see, we have here a little bit of Hag Watch. Yeah, Hag and review. We've got to do like a Hag and review. So, there's going to be that. That'll be exciting. Little Hag Watch. And this was our first year of a second Trump presidency. So a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things to consider. And it is cold and snowy here. So this season, it is a turning. But I think now we've hit that solstice mark where now we're moving back into like the light. I guess they're going to let us have more light now. So that's good. We've charged up our vitamin D levels. I mean, they're depleted now, but I mean, we are going to now hopefully start to be allowed to charge them back up here at one point. So cheers to, this is a little bit of old coffee from this morning. So cheers to the new year, to you and yours, and we can get started here. So again, like and subscribe. We're going to do some stuff pull up some Substack stuff here before when we get into that. I don't have a good mic, so hopefully you can hear me. I suppose I'm not talking loud. But if anybody wants to let me know how we're doing with the sound, hopefully it's coming through. Yeah, so the title that I have listed here today is not your grandfather's fascism, And so what do I mean by that? Well, comment section, you tell me. But it seems to be this, what has really fascinated me over really the years now, but specifically as we were leading up into 2024 or the election of 2024, where Trump won in a landslide, right? Took all 7 swing states and Iowa. So leading up, we were hearing about fascism, about rising authoritarianism, about fascism. And then all of this year also, we're hearing a lot about fascism from the Democrat voter media. And sort of what I mean by that is you have the Heather Cox Richardson, of course, even Jimmy Kimmel, but you have sort of these people on Blue Sky and, maybe the New York Times, but definitely the talking heads for, again, the Democrat media who want to instill in their voters and their demographic, their quarantined, isolated demographic, this idea that Trump is ushering fascism, that MAGA are fascists, right? So, and XF has gone into this pretty in depth, and and really just the tip of the iceberg at the same time. But it's really this dog whistle for the political group, voter blocks to mobilize, right? But what we do see is this trickle down effect of it's sort of like the no kings phenomenon, which we've gone over here on the show. If you're new here, then all of our archives are on Rumble for sure. We still stream live to Rumble, started streaming live to YouTube about 2 months ago. So anything before 2 months for the past 3 years is all going to be on Rumble. So check that out. But we've gone over the no kings phenomenon and the messaging associated with that, and sort of where does that messaging come from, and what does it mean, and who believes it, and who is meant to believe it, and who's repeating it. And is it allowed to really take itself to this logical conclusion? Are we seeing that at all, really? And so this was the same thing, obviously, with the pandemic. But a lot of with the anti-Trump rhetoric is what we see on Facebook, right? The Heather Cox Richardson demographic that we see repeated on Facebook. And it's that Trump is a pedophile. We can go into that or not. Trump is a pedophile. It's sort of that convicted felon rhetoric, right? And it's the adjudicated rapist, right? And the bigot, the racist. So the fascist has really, there's still a lot of you're a racist, especially with the immigrant stuff and the Somalian stuff, right? Okay. So much going on. The fascist has really taken over, especially with ICE and all of that has really taken over the messaging space, and has really trickled down to that Democrat voter who's posting on Facebook. They were posting a lot on, I would see a meme with a Nazi, right? Really comparing what we're seeing today with Nazi Germany, right? That's the whole messaging that's coming down the pipe that people are resharing and posting to Facebook. Now, because we look at this show is called Beyond the Lines, and we look at both sides, and we're doing nuance, and we're doing more of what's underneath and beyond the headlines and beyond the party lines and that sort of thing. We want to look at both angles, right? Check our biases, if you will. The political shadow work, if you will. So, could you make the argument and the case that Trump supporters or MAGA are regurgitating messaging that they receive that has been crafted for them? Yes. However, there is a different piece to it's different. Okay. Right. So, and this is supported in obviously the electoral victory of Donald Trump, public opinion, big data analytics, because we can't always trust polling, right? But we know what most people think. If you were to line up 10 people that and ask them what do they think, right? And especially based on where you live. So just based on your own anecdotal evidence, people that in your area, based on where you live, you could take an assessment as to what most people, where they generally lie on these things. So there is this element. This is why the joke has always been that the left can't meme, because comedy has to be rooted in truth, and it cannot be a punching down. It cannot be the establishment making the jokes, right? That's not funny, right? It has to be a sort of a dissident perspective. And I know the resistance libs, I guess, we did a show on our last show actually was on what Nate Silver got right about Heather Cox Richardson. Check that out. And we were using the term resistance libs. It has to be, comedy has to be rooted in truth, right? And so that is the difference between what MAGA messaging was and is, because it's based on economic populism, and it's based on policy populism and what most people prefer and think, right? So this is how it all started with Trump back in 2016. And populism is sort of a dirty word to some of these people. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want it because it can cause problems for them. It can lead to X, Y, and Z. So, but I definitely take into consideration when I'm criticizing or critiquing or deconstructing this phenomenon, right, of people posting messaging that they have gotten from somewhere else that is not their own idea. Like people did not create the idea that Trump is Hitler and that they are ushering Nazi Germany and that MAGA is Nazi and Trump is Nazi and all this is fascism. They did not come up with that idea on their own. Again, looking at it on the flip side of, okay, well, you could say that these ideas that Trump is presenting to people, that MAGA is reposting and doing things online are not their original ideas either. And I would actually I would actually argue that, because it is based on how most people live, right? That's how he was able to win the popular vote, right? So it's based on, again, a number of things that, again, most people agree with, right? The economy, closed borders, and even healthcare, actually, right? The MAHA. I feel like we do repeat ourselves around here, but if you're just if you're joining us for the first time today, welcome. But if you look at the MAHA coalition, Big Pharma, that relationship, and sort of this, the blowback that happened after Biden and the pandemic and all of that. But this was, even if you go back to 2016, again, the blowback of years, decades of failed policies and how it trickled down to the regular American, right? The American worker. And again, it's just how people live their lives and what's in the best interest of most people, right? Not specific groups, but most people as Americans, right? And I think everybody can agree on generally safe cities, safe areas, crime, housing, borders. Yes. So I am looking at this from both sides, just to be clear, that I take that into consideration. But going back to this sort of trickle down, where we have these keyboard warriors who are repeating this language, and I think that they feel as though they're correct, right? And that's the whole thing, is the virtue. It's the correct position, right? That it is the moral and ethical correct position, right? So again, we reviewed the No Kings phenomenon. We're going to watch a clip here in a minute, one of my favorite clips, because I sort of spent some time on various pieces of it, and it's super telling and interesting, and we're just going to apply it to this conversation about fascism and why people are so just off the tongue there with it now, and why it came up again recently for me, just with a group, a Facebook post, right? Because that's where, again, a certain demographic of people live, on Facebook. And so it's interesting to track it and just notice it. We're going to play around with it a little bit. We're going to throw it against the wall and see what sticks. So before we watch that video, maybe I'll read a little bit about what motivated me to keep talking about it, because and then it became so interesting to me. And then I had to reach out to XF, and I was like, what is going on? Why do they think that? Why is there so much fascism rhetoric? Like, this is wild. Like, what do they think is going on? Is there any truth to that? And if there is truth to that, just speak to that then. Why all the fanfare, right? And he made a good point on the live stream that we did maybe 2 weeks ago or whatever. I referenced it in the last video, that if you really were concerned about fascism would it manifest itself as dressing up in costumes at the No Kings protest? Like, none of it makes sense, right? So if you actually were genuinely concerned about fascism, is that how you would behave, right? And maybe Richardson and Freeman would say, like, yes, laftivism, right? How Joanne was trying to talk about Serbian laftivism or whatever, about how, like, that's how you slow down rising authoritarianism, is because you make jokes about them. And it's like, they don't have a sense of humor, so they can't. They can't, and it's not funny. Is it? You tell me, is it funny what they were doing with the No Kings? And we haven't heard about the No Kings protests actually since then. So maybe they're gearing up for 2026. Who knows? Okay. So let's go to the post. I really hope my sound is coming through. Actually, maybe we should check on that real quick. Should we just check the sound? Because that would be really sad if
He made a public call for
yeah, I mean, Rumble is good for free speech, and you know, we'll see how YouTube is doing. Yeah, it seems like it's working. Okay, great. Okay, here we go. Let's go to Facebook. Let's go to Facebook. My kids call me Unk. You know that, right? We're all Unk. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so I live in a red county. Okay. I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's a purple state, right? They've referred to it as, is it New York on both sides and Alabama in the middle or something? I forget how they refer to it as, but we have Pittsburgh and we have Philadelphia. Okay. Look out for Delaware County. Look up Delaware County, the parallel election, Leah Hoops and Greg Stenstrom. Look that up. Different show about Pennsylvania. Anyway, so I live, yes, a blue county, or red county. And there's a group on Facebook that, and I'm not saying that like it's not all Republicans. And we've gone into this numerous times, that all politics is local. Okay. And sometimes the Democrat choice, and I'm just speaking like from a, you know, what are we doing here? Right. And so, you know, the reason why, so Trump went through the Republican Party, but the reason why Republicans are preferred is because of the Democrat, because Democrat policies. Okay. So Republican candidates were coming in, aligning with Trump, supporting Trump. So I'm not saying that hands down, I mean, definitely on a federal level, but I'm not saying hands down the Republican candidate is going to be preferable to the Democrat on a local level, right? Because again, it's very, you know, local politics is going to be different. And we've seen a lot of, like I mentioned, Delaware County. I mean, we've seen a lot of unpreferred situations with Republicans, right? So this is not about, it's not black and white, I guess is what I'm saying. Obviously it's not black and white, but, so what does that mean? That it means that that our county, and our state is not like, you know, a New York where it's doing this radical thing. And that's what makes it a swing state. It's because it's very, it's purple, right? Because there's a lot of independents that swing both ways, right? And it comes down to the candidate. It comes down to what's going on. And so Republicans vote for Democrats, Democrats vote for Republicans. So, yeah, so this isn't to say that like, oh, it's red and that makes it good. That's not it. I'm talking about Trump won Pennsylvania. Okay. He won, I think, most counties. I can't remember how many counties he won. I think there's 63 counties in the state of Pennsylvania. So this post was presented to me on Facebook, a group that I had never known before, 15,000 members in this group. And the title of the group, and I'm not going to say the county, what's on your mind? So, and this is the first time I had ever seen this group. And so that, to me, the fact that it has so many members in this group, and it's a public group. I don't like stuff like that because this is why I don't like Facebook. Okay, I don't want to post something and then have a bunch of people see what I posted, and then Facebook, how Facebook does their algorithm and how they promote content to other people, and it's very divisive and they activate division, right? And I've told my story before about how I stopped posting to my Facebook page. I have a small channel now, but or a small group, but I don't post that many things because I don't want it. The people that I wanted to engage in conversation was on a local level. So I would post something and it would be maybe controversial because it had to do with like, when we were in 2020 and 2021, and then somebody that didn't even live near me started commenting. And I was just like, I'm not arguing with you. This messaging is not for you. I'm not trying to do that. Right. And I'm not trying to drive traffic to Facebook, and I'm not trying to create engagement. I'm not a content creator here on Facebook. I'm not making a living off this. I'm not getting paid for any of this. And so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So I stopped posting. But anyway, so that's why I don't like these groups, but people engage. Okay. Now we've also gone over on past shows that Facebook has a bot problem. Welcome to the internet. I mean, who knows how many people on the internet are actually real people and how many are bots and how many people in the country are actually engaged on social media, right? I mean, you see millions and millions and all this stuff and comments and all these things, but like how many of them are actual people versus bots and trolls? Okay. So there's that piece. But you will see that people that are posting on Facebook, right? Facebook's a little bit more or much more geared towards people you actually know and like community. So if somebody in your local area posts something maybe about the school, about kids, about sports, about a local incident, like there's a lot of that, like local activity, right? The city, the mayor, all that stuff. And it gets shared around, right? And that's really we don't really see that on any other social media platforms, I don't think. Right? So sort of unique to Facebook in that sense. Okay, so this account came up, and this is what this person posts. I don't want to dox this person, but he's probably 70, right? He has a mustache. He's on a motorcycle. Okay, fine. No, I'm just giving you okay. Now, I don't know what happened. I wasn't following this story. Like I said, I don't know if somebody said something. So I'm just going to read this. I'm going to give my thoughts, and it's just going to give us a little bit of a basis for what prompted me to continue this journey. Why are people talking about fascism? And do they actually believe it? Do the people creating this messaging actually believe it? What's the deal with it? And how can we actually continue to be thinking people? Okay. So he wrote, to the MAGA morons crawling onto this page like it's a public square, a debate club, or some kind of ideological Airbnb. This page doesn't exist to hear you out. It does not exist to engage respectfully. It does not exist to gently hold your hand while you explain, once again, why fascism is actually just strong leadership, why misogyny is biology, why racism is realism, why religious bigotry is faith, or why you suddenly get very quiet and defensive when the word pedophilia comes up in proximity to your heroes. I just want to, so I'm going to interject here. I find it also interesting that when QAnon came onto the scene, which was all, a certain percentage about human trafficking, child sex trafficking, and pedophilia, specifically with elites, Epstein, where were y'all? Like, where were y'all? Because you guys were super passionate about shaming, ostracizing, doing all of that. Is that because that's what the media was telling you to do? I don't know. Like, it is so bizarre to me that now Trump is a pedophile. Oh, pedophilia. Oh, you guys don't want to talk about Trump's a pedophile. Like, blah, 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 blah. When, where were you? Like, what? So, no, I'm genuinely asking. Like, so did you completely dismiss QAnon because the media told you to, or because you thought yourself that it was too far-fetched? So both of those are sort of, you'd have to reckon with that, right? Like, the media told me to, yeah, like I didn't look into it, right? That would be like an honest answer. Like, yeah, I just saw that it was, it didn't, I didn't look into it. You could just say that. So do you think that Trump supporters don't know what you're talking about? Do you think that they're so in denial about Trump and pedophilia that they are just they don't want to talk about it? So this is also something that Excess brought up about that they don't understand the other side of the argument. We spend a lot of time with other sides of the argument, right? That's a lot of what we do here. But they don't know, or they just pretend not to know, or whatever. We're talking specifically about people that are posting to Facebook. That is the trickle down voter block of the people like Heather Cox Richardson, who may not even actually believe what she's saying. She may not even be writing her content, in fact. So if they don't believe what they're saying, who are they trying to get to believe it? And this is the strategy. So, do you actually believe that people who have followed Trump this whole time have never heard of this phenomenon that is elite pedophilia? And you actually think that they're, swiping it under the rug? That makes the least amount of sense. You understand that? That makes the least amount of sense. Okay. I wouldn't be this, judgmental, I guess, and perhaps is the word, if this sort of arrogance wasn't sprinkled all over, certainly it made it to my eyes. Okay. These are not opposing viewpoints. They are intellectual landfill. They are the rhetorical equivalent of dumping raw sewage into the comment section and then demanding applause for free speech. I would agree with that. I do agree that comment sections can be monitored for sure. And admins should set rules and delete people if you want to, on the basis of we're not going to name call, right? Whatever. But don't do it because of, you see what I'm saying? The hypocrisy here. Okay. We are not obligated to pretend your opinions have value simply because you managed to type them. Literacy is not insight. Caps lock is not conviction. Repeating the same dumb lies louder does not magically turn them into truths. It just confirms you've confused volume with substance and cruelty with courage. We know many of you are bots. Some of you are troll farms, which is true. Some of you are hijacked accounts with profile photos stolen from people who would be deeply embarrassed to know what they have been posting. And yes, some of you are tragically, disappointingly real human beings who wake up every morning and choose this personality. There is no prize for that. Our block button is not a threat. It is a hobby. 223 and counting. It is exercised joyfully, efficiently, and without regret. We do not debate fascists. We do not reason with bigots, and neither should you. We do not platform cruelty. We do not coddle stupidity. We do not owe you attention, consideration, or a seat at any table we're sitting at. You are not being censored. You are being ignored, removed, and forgotten. There is a difference, and it matters far more to you than it does to us. Except that they're not, because you decided to write this huge dissertation to them. So they're not actually being ignored. They're actually being given a lot of focus, right? A lot of focus. You're not being censored. Yeah. You're being ignored. Yeah. So they don't want to. Yeah. So I don't know who they're talking to specifically. If somebody comes on and they're I think that this post would have been more effective if they actually were specific, if they actually went and copied and pasted the exact post that they're talking about, the exact comment rather that they're talking about, and then did like a little deconstruction on it. That would have been a little bit more helpful, because they're just using a broad brush here. And so if somebody is being, disrespectful or not engaging, if the rules of the group, which it doesn't seem like it's a political group, it seems like it's a pretty general group. But if one of the rules of the group is like, don't name call, or don't use, don't name call, if somebody depends on really, it depends on what the person said, really. Why the comment would be deleted, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to be because they're a MAGA moron, right? You don't have to name call, right? Do you have to name call because you're saying we don't want name calling, but then you name call? Now, I mean, I do it. I don't get me wrong. As an admin, like I do it too in some subtle ways. But it's specific. You know what I mean? It's not broad. It's not like, hey, all you assholes out there, it's like, hey, you in particular, here's why you are an asshole in particular, and why you've broken the rules numerous times and X, Y, and Z. So I think it would have been more effective and helpful for this person, because now this person just seems like a hypocrite. And that they want to be, we do not debate fascists, right? So, but we don't even know the comment that got deleted. So we don't even know, as audience that's seeing this, we don't even know what caused them to call, we don't debate. What does that even mean? We don't debate with fascists. I'm sorry, I didn't realize what kind of page we were on here. What are we even talking about? This is about being kicked off of the public square. This is a public page having to do with what's on your mind, as in like a general. Oh, so I didn't realize we were doing all this, right? When I just, and if you're going to have political content, one of the things that you could do is say, this is not a page for politics. You could say that, and you just want to talk about local events, but the page is actually called What's on Your Mind, right? So if somebody has Trump derangement syndrome and that's on their mind, like Rosie O'Donnell, and that's on their mind, and they want to say like, well, these are the reasons why, then you would think that then a Trump supporter would then, within their right to then go ahead and debate. So I think they're missing the mark here, and an opportunity to educate on, well, what is, like, why, go a little bit deeper, but they didn't want to do that. They wanted to get up on their high horse, and they wanted to like do this whole thing, right? Again, I've never seen this page before. I've never taken an interest in. Okay, hold on. We're going to keep going. If you feel silenced here, good. The name of the page is What's on Your Mind. If you feel silenced, you're good. If you feel unwelcome, correct. If you feel angry, confused, or victimized, take that energy and scream it into whatever dark algorithmic echo chamber raised you. This page is not your home, your battlefield, or your redemption arc. Our block list does not have limits. Our patience ran out years ago. Our contempt is earned. Scroll on or don't. Either way, you won't be staying. Okay, very good. Great. So that this is the type of behavior that I'm talking about the, and this is not, this is a program. This is trained behavior. This is not original thought. This is not something that somebody created on their own. Okay. I played the clip of, and we're going to actually go to my Telegram channel because I really like Telegram. It has its flaws, for sure. But I like it because of the way that it allows me to link things and set, I hate Facebook. It is such a dirty, fucking gross, garbage, dumpster fire, shitty app. And Telegram has its problems too. But as far as content creation and, again, creating the content to put and develop and link back and refer back to, and like, this is a journey where we're referencing things back again. It sucks. But that's where I do have a little community because I want to, I started it back in 2021 because I wanted to reach out to my local community and talk to people about like, hey, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? What's working for you? Just, again, a way for us to have community when we were going through that crazy time. Okay. So we're going to go to, yes. So I posted onto my, I'm not going to put it here because it's going to get copyright, but that scene in The Devil Wears Prada, where she says, you have all this, you think that your clothes, you think that you went into the store and you chose that, ugly blouse or whatever, but it was actually chosen for you from a pile of stuff by people in this room. And I always think about that because I think about where do ideas come from and how it gets intercepted, and how, the limited hangouts, and how information and ideas get sort of channeled and put into these sort of echo chambers, right? But this person who wrote this here, this is a product of a bygone era that is applying what they believe as virtue, morality, ethics, no tolerance, with the moment in time, and it was given to them, and they have adopted it and they put it on, and they have, from a pile of stuff, it was given to them, and they're wearing it now, and they're adding to it, and now they're engaging with other people, and they're doing their own monitoring and all of that sort of thing. And so it was Huey Long that said that when fascism comes to the United States, it's going to come in the form of anti-fascism. And we are going to look at a clip here. And so there's a lot of rhetoric that this guy wrote that in the name of, right, believing itself. And I did another show on Heather Cox Richardson's comment section, and what people believe, assuming they're real people, what they believe about this moment and anti-fascism, what they believe about anti-fascism, and what they believe about fascism. Very interesting. And so when does the anti-fascism actually behave as the fascism, right? And that's what we're talking about today. And so fascism was based on the givings of the time. So you cannot take what we're seeing today and take historical references from the past and apply them to today, and genuinely and authentically and with integrity apply that to today and justify the rhetoric that we're seeing coming out of the Democratic Party media operatives, and again, trickling down to the voter bloc, who's posting and monitoring and doing all sorts of that, working for the brown shirts on Facebook, right? So let's go to a clip here. I guess we're going to have to screen share here. Oh, yes. Okay, I uploaded it to my Substack. Here we go. Oh, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Okay. I think hopefully you're going to be able to hear this. Okay, so this was, so a lot of the trends, let me just also share the page here. A lot of the trends that we see with the anti-fascists doing fascism is the blocking of, and we covered this actually in a previous show. I could probably put the link there, about accessing public spaces, right? Based on speech that is not preferred. And you could say they're being, why would he go into, but they don't want to, right? They don't want to debate with fascists, but they just don't want to debate. So they're calling people fascists so that they don't have to debate, because they don't debate with fascists, you see? Fucking stupid. So this is a great clip. It was pulled from back again during the No Kings protests. I don't even know the context. I pulled it from my Twitter, or pulled it from X, and I had uploaded it to Telegram or posted it to Telegram. So I actually don't know where it originated from, or the buzz or the keywords that you would use to find this clip. But it must have been right after Charlie. Because the No Kings stuff was after Charlie Kirk. I mean, the second No Kings was after Charlie Kirk. So this guy's wearing a freedom shirt, obviously, ripe for triggering. And well, let's just watch the clip, shall we? And then we can stop it and start it. Clickety clack, as I had a commenter say. Hold on, we gotta turn this up. Oh, I had a friend who said, don't turn it down. But that's when we were listening to Brian Berlitich, and his voice was terrible. So hopefully this is working. Okay.
Thank you for coming up. I don't think that's on them.
This is hilarious.
Thank you for coming
Oh my God. I can't deal with it, guys, because I've actually watched, because I love this clip so hard. So hold on. Let me just make sure it's loud enough. I wish I didn't give my producer the day off, because I can't tell if it's, I have to look back and then ruin the user experience right now. Okay, so she says, thank you for coming. So I'll set the stage. So there must have been, so it says Viva Antifa. Okay, look at these guys here with the with the biker helmets here. This is hilarious. Okay, this guy over here with the blue hat. Okay, so this guy here in the freedom shirt, you'll see him. He's on the left side of the frame. He's wearing a black shirt, a freedom shirt, and they must have been having some sort of a rally or whatever, a gathering. And he comes over to them, and they call the lead. I think she's in charge of the event or whatever. We'll find out. She comes over. It's her and the blonde. So she wants to come. She got word that this guy, because this guy here and the girl, this lady in the doily, they were talking, and it seemed someone went and signaled to this blonde chick like, hey, because they don't want to engage with the enemy. They think that they don't. Okay. See, this conversation had already been happening, but when the blonde lady came over. Okay.
Thank you for coming up. I don't think that's on them, but
You don't want to talk to me?
no, you're
Are
kind
you
of.
an organizer?
Yes, I am fully organized.
Well, you should be able to tell me every reason and have an open dialogue like everybody else. Unless you're a fraud, you don't want to be a...
Hold on. He goes, unless you're a fraud. Hold on. This is okay. I get so excited. Okay. So he called her out and says, are you you're the organizer? She's like, well, yes, I'm the organizer. But if you notice her body, look at these two in the back. Look at this guy in the blue hat. He would love, look at him. He would love to get in on this. Can't wait to get in on this. This guy over here with the gray shirt, okay, he's just listening. Okay, hold on. By the way, it's an Orwell shirt, right? Okay, we'll see that in a second. Oh my God, this is like my favorite clip, dude. Okay. Sorry. Edit out my excitement. It's too much. So her body language changes, right? Okay, because he's looking at her in the eye. Okay. He's alpha, obviously. I don't know when the last time an alpha looked at her in the eye and she had to, you know what I'm saying? So let's just have a moment here. What we're seeing is her body language change to where she is feeling a certain kind of a way. Okay. And he says, so she's judging him, obviously. She doesn't want to engage with him. She just he's wearing a For Charlie shirt, right? So she's already feeling like, again, a bunch of different ways again about him being here. It's her event. He's not allowed here because he's starting trouble probably, even though they love, good trouble. You see what I mean? Like they want it for them, but they don't want other people to do it for them, for maybe another side of the argument, right? They don't want to debate, obviously. Okay, so let's just notice how her body language changes because we just want to recognize it as part of the analysis.
Thank you for coming. I don't think that's on them, but
You don't want to talk to you?
no, you're
Are
kind
you
of.
an organizer?
Yes, I am fully organized.
Well, you should be able to tell me every reason and have an open dialogue like everybody else. Unless you're a
I'm sorry. You see how you see how she did that whole thing? We've all been there. She did that whole thing. She's like, yes. Tell me. It's hilarious. Okay.
well, you should be able to tell me every reason and have an open dialogue like everybody else. Unless you're a fraud. You don't want to be a fraud, right? You're looking at
He goes, you don't want to be a fraud, right? And she's like, yeah, like they're flirting, right? A little bit like, no, she don't want to be a fraud. But wait. Okay, here we go. The guy in the red hat is holding his cards, right? Here comes the guy in the Orwell shirt. He's waiting for his move. He sees what's going on. He's coming in. So she turns. Look, he needs to get in on this now, okay? Wait, I need to make sure this is all working. This is hilarious. Okay. I hope you guys can see. I know. Maybe I should make myself less big. Sorry. Okay. Because we really are analyzing this pretty hard. Well, let me know. Nobody's commenting. So if somebody had an opinion, share now. Okay. So this guy's coming through now. All right, let's back it up a bit. Sorry, this is what it takes, guys. This is what it takes. Look, this guy right here, this guy in the Orwell shirt, he sees it. He needs to come in. Look, the girl in the blonde behind. Hold on. Look at this right here. Look at this. Screenshot this right here. I'm going to pause it right here. She's excited in the purple. She loves this. Okay. The girl behind her also loves it. Okay. You see, she's coming up to she wants to get in on it. Okay.
You're looking at you're not looking for dialogue. You can tell by the words, language, and all.
Go ahead.
You can't back up. You can't back up your position. You can't tell me why you're here. Everyone else does. You're gonna come.
Yeah, I don't owe you.
Dude, okay. Then the blue guy, then the blue hat. He's ready, dude. He's waiting for his move to come in. The girl in the blonde actually, I think, she's sort of cool, actually. There's something, you know what I mean? Like she is a little bit, she actually, I think, wants to hear him out. Like, I think she actually sort of wants to hear him out. She doesn't want to look like a loser because she's the organizer, I guess. She's one of, or whatever, who even knows? She wants to talk to him, but maybe she wants to go out for a drink with him and talk about something else. No, but she actually doesn't mind talking about him, but she's letting this continue. She's being a little bit passive about it, and she's letting these other people join it. I don't know. This is just one speculation. Okay, so Blue Hat says you don't want to, the Orwell guy says you don't want to debate. Well, he does, and he would sit here for 3 hours and talk to her, which is what she wants. But they're not going to let her do that. He would sit, this guy, this For Charlie guy shirt, he would sit for 3 hours and debate with her and talk. They don't, okay?
You any explanation, first of all? Second of all?
If you're right.
I don't owe you any explanation. Look, they're already on their second. They're already on they're in their relationship in her mind. I don't owe you an explanation for anything. What are we talking about here? Okay.
Second of all,
Telling
don't
everyone how to
interrupt.
think.
Oh, wait, guys. Second of all, don't interrupt me. This is hilarious. Hilarious.
Anybody?
What did he say? I can't even hear what the guy in the blue shirt said, or in the blue hat.
Buddy. You can talk to me too if you want to. I am. Didn't you hear me? Am I stuttering? I actually agree with your shirt. Yeah, well.
Wait. Okay.
Anybody? Buddy. You can talk to me too if you want to. I am. Didn't you hear me? Am I stuttering? I actually agree with your shirt. Yeah, well, maybe we should make Orwell fiction again and not have fucking fascists on the streets. And yeah.
Not okay. You guys see how exciting this is, right? Maybe we should make Orwell fiction again and not have fascists on the street. Okay. So he's the one that is, yes, going into their event and trying to talk to people, which is within his right because it's a public event on a public space. It's within his right to go and talk to people that want to talk to him. This guy here is advocating to get the fascists off the street. Who is he talking about? Who's actually engaging in silencing, censoring behavior that is fascist-like, right? I mean, they're patrolling other citizens, right? They're acting as an arm of the establishment that is perpetrating this narrative. It's the No Kings stuff is top down. There is nothing organic about it. There's nothing organic grassroots about it. It's all top down. Now people make it become who they are, right? They add it to their personality and they like we just read, integrate, and they get creative and they apply in their trauma and all their pain and everything. And they bubble it and they integrate it with the top down messaging, right? And justify it and all that stuff. They do the exact same thing that they criticize the opposition of doing, that they won't engage with or debate with. This is all Charlie Kirk was trying to do. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it makes people feel uncomfortable. But discourse can be uncomfortable. Your viewpoints and your belief system being challenged can be very uncomfortable. But we've been through all of this, again, with pandemic and all that stuff. Okay, so we're going to get the fascists off the streets. Okay. Here we go.
I think it's a weaponization of government that's happened for way longer than Trump. This happened during Biden, happened during Obama, happened during not like this. No, they did not put the National Guard on the streets.
I'm going to make sure that nobody else.
They didn't put the National Guard on the street. Okay. What are the National Guard doing on the street, though? We've reviewed this as well. We've looked at clips. We've taken the anecdotal evidence of people that are posting, all over in different areas, Memphis. We've looked at this and what is actually happening and what the National Guard is actually doing to help people. And does it mean that everything's perfect? No, absolutely not. But to say it's never been done like this, he's not. And XF actually said this in the interview that we did. I think it's called, if you go back and scroll down on the YouTube, it's called like the political light bulb has turned on or something. But it's not that the National Guard is being brought in to silence people or censor, a strike. Right? Like if a union or if a labor union was striking or an organization was striking and the president brought in the National Guard to silence actual dissent, you see what I'm saying? Like that's not, they'll try and argue that and be like, oh, because Stephen Miller wants to get rid of people of color. That's not real. That is fan fiction, Heather Cox Richardson. So they try and make that argument, but no, like there could actually be a situation where the government actually silences it. Well, let me see. In fact, how far in history do we have to go, Richardson? Just basically to the Biden administration, where big tech colluded with the government to silence regular people from the public square, Facebook, X, then Twitter, to literally silence people. People got fired. People lost their licenses, or their licenses were threatened just for speaking out against the mandates and all the things that was going on. So, what about law enforcement descending on school board meetings? And what's his face calling parents domestic terrorists? Like, everything that we had just been through. You don't have to look far in history, my friend. You don't have to look to Nazi Germany. You don't have to look far back and to see what's happening to apply what we all just went through. We all live to tell the tale, thank God, that we all just went through of actual, definitely authoritarianism. There's muddying waters of fascism? Sure, you could argue that. So to say, it's never been like this before, and he's never had, if he again was bringing in the National Guard to silence again people striking or actual protests of dissent of things that was actually against the rights of citizens, then you could have a case. But if crime is happening and the streets aren't safe, we just played a clip on a past show of a girl in Memphis who was saying, like, my kids can play in the street. Like, my kids have never been, I've lived here for 5 years. I've grown up in this city. I've lived in this house for 5 years. My kids have never been outside to play because of gunshots and crime. So she actually appreciates the National Guard. So the National Guard isn't doing anything that is not upholding the law that those areas were not doing. Do you see the difference? It's enforcing the law versus unlawful behavior. And Democrats want to, and the media and the liberal intelligentsia want to talk about it as though it's unlawful. They want to talk about things that Trump is doing as though it's unlawful, but it's actually all lawful. So if you want to make the argument and you're not happy with the way things are going, or you're not happy about that viral video or whatever, make the actual argument instead of sounding like an idiot because you're making the wrong argument. That is not, it's never been like this before. We've never had the National Guard out on the street, which
ends up entertaining your little thing here, so you can go ahead and try to talk to people, but we're all going to walk away. Since you want to talk over people, I'll talk louder. We're going to walk away.
Okay, so now did I say she was cool? I said that earlier. We're all going to walk away now. Like they want to say that, Trump stuff is tribalism, MAGA's tribalism, whatever. But like, we're all going to, like, what is this? Look at this guy with the blue hat. This lady in the back, she's just here for the ride. I think it actually gets better still. Let's keep going.
Yo, what are you?
Oh my God.
Are you saying that's not true? You can't even back up while you're here and don't trip over your bag there.
I can back up while I'm here.
No,
I think I did it for about 2 hours.
I'll see you in 3 hours. You did nothing but argue with children.
Civilized citizen. Oh yeah. Can you pull that out of yourself? Okay.
Really hard.
Okay, so now she's questioning whether he's a civilized person or not, right? Not talking about, this is all, this is like middle school recess fighting. The guy in the Orwell shirt said he argued with children, which at the time I had thought he was talking about Charlie Kirk. I thought that was a strange thing to say at the time, because Charlie Kirk didn't argue with children. He argued with students who are technically adults. So I just think that's a weird thing to, again, repeat. Like, if you think about it, like, you're just repeating what you hear someone else say.
I bet it is, but you have a great rest of your day. We're going to go ahead and walk away because we don't need the bullshit.
You can't explain your position. This is why the left is losing. This is why the left is losing. fucking people like you don't understand anything.
This is why the left is losing. You can't get the blame your position. Small-minded that you can't understand what we're saying. Personal attacks.
What is he saying? Has anybody actually stopped to listen to what he's saying? And here comes what's her name? What's Elsa's sister's name? Here she comes, Anna. I don't think that they actually sat down to listen to what he's saying.
Different shirt.
Then why did Charlie do nothing but personal attacks?
There's a reason why.
Charlie didn't just do personal attacks, and she said you should have worn a different shirt. That other lady before she walked away. And I can see why she would say that, and I could see how you could say that he's sort of being argumentative. He's definitely being argumentative, but like with him wearing this shirt, but he's wearing his shirt just like the other guy's wearing his shirt. Like he's wearing his position. He's actually doing what he's representing his shirt. Like he's doing it for Charlie. His shirt says for Charlie. So that's what he's doing. He's engaging with the opposition to debate in this discourse. And when I say the opposition, I mean people that have a very different perception of reality, viewpoint, messaging, dissemination, and perspective, and essentially what they're doing there. So he's doing the same thing, though, that this guy in the gray shirt is wearing, saying make Orwell fiction again, which is actually sort of a weird thing. It was interesting that he's wearing that shirt because there's a probably subsect of people who understand Orwell to be they would not be taking the stance that this guy's taking by wearing that shirt. So that was actually interesting to think about, that this demographic would be wearing an Orwell shirt, essentially to get fascists off the streets, which is what he said, which is cute. Anyway, so he's doing the exact same thing that the Fort Charlie guy is doing by wearing this shirt. So yeah, he didn't have to wear that shirt. He could have worn a different shirt, but he, again, is allowed to wear whatever he wants, right? There's you could look at it from both sides. Like if he was trying to not overtly trigger, right, he would maybe not wear that shirt. But he also, though, is giving a message about freedom of speech, and he's allowing his opponent to be triggered, right? Because that's part of the process, is he's allowing his opponent to be triggered, and then can you debate? And he's also being forthright about his position. And then all of the, again, preconceived notions and prejudices that come with that, but that allows for open dialogue if you want it. And it seems like they don't want it. He wants to have that dialogue. And like I said, you could say that he just wants to, make content and do it for the video. But I would think that he would actually sit down and talk to people for a long time. They don't want to do that. They're the ones that are walking away. They could very well say, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation.
He did that.
The election, right?
Yeah, because
and I'm not even a Republican. He had
Wait, he lost the election. Biden? He lost the election because they cheated. This goes back to some of the videos that we were looking at. Remember when there was this messaging that Elon stole the election because Starlink was connected to election machines? Okay. He says, I'm not even a Republican.
You lost because you've lost the vote. No, we're not mad about that. We cannot fight with ideas. You fight with attacks. That doesn't work. That's why people will not vote for the left anymore.
Who shot two senators in Minnesota? Was it a lefty?
Wait, oh my God, wait. Anna.
A Waltz employee?
Anna. Anna comes out. It was a Trumper. So, hold on. It wasn't.
Staffer?
Yeah, it's a Tim Walz staffer.
It was a lefty.
Oh. Tim Walz staffer. So this is another interesting piece, is that now that clip of that Minnesota staff, or that Minnesota senator or legislator, I don't know if she was a senator or not. Remember Melissa something? that clip is coming back around again, where she said she had to vote no on the healthcare, giving healthcare to illegal immigrants in Minnesota. She was one of the dissenting votes. She, as a Democrat, she went with the Republicans, and like they needed her vote, and the bill that killed that part of the bill or something. And then they were murdered that night. And it's it's connected to Tim Walz somehow. You can look it up. Just look up her name, whatever. You can just look it up. And so now that all the Somali fraud is coming out in Minnesota, because Nick Shirley on X and that other guy, the Leering Education Center, the Leering Center, whatever it is called, we can look into that here later in the show if we're still here. But all of that is being connected to Tim Walz now, and it's being connected back to the senator and that clip of her voting no on that, and how that's all connected, how the fraud with them getting, with the daycare centers and them getting all of this money, millions of dollars of government funding to run daycare centers that don't have children in them, that aren't up to code, that a number of them aren't licensed. Nick Shirley went around for 45 minutes and showed the paperwork with that other guy that has been doing the research there. So that's all connected. So they're not going to be able to put together the fact that, so they want to bring up the fact that this woman was killed, this woman and her husband were killed, but now they probably don't want to bring up the fact that they're not going to have anything to talk about for this pretty soon. They're going to be talking about just Venezuela pretty soon. If I go to Richardson and Freeman, they're going to be just talking about Venezuela and what? The color white, the new Pantone color. So he wants to bring up the fact that this senator was, okay, we see how it's all, truth's coming out.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
It was Tim Walz who was the VP nomination. What do you mean, where'd I get this?
Yeah, so they don't want to acknowledge the fact that Tim Walz is, well, just look it up. Just look it up, Tim Walz and the, it was his staffer or something. Tim Walz and Melissa, what was her name? Oh, Melissa Hortman. Here. Former appointee of Tim Walz sought in killing of lawmaker, her husband. Vance Luther Bolter, 57, has been identified as the suspect in a shooting that left former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband dead, and Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife injured. Bolter, reportedly the CEO of Red Lion Group and Praetorian Guard Security Services, is being sought in connection with the attack, according to two sources who confirmed with the Associated Press. The sources cannot publicly discuss details of the ongoing investigation. Bolter is a former political appointee who served on the same state workforce development board as Hoffman, state records show, though it is not clear if or how well they knew each other. New York Post documents obtained confirm Bolter was twice appointed to jobs by Democratic governors, serving on the Workforce Development Council in 2016 under then Governor Mark Dayton, and appointed by Walz in 2019 to serve a 4-year stint on the Workforce Development Board. He was Walz appointed. Law enforcement has recovered several AK-style firearms from the suspect's vehicle, and he's believed to still be armed with a pistol. One of the people familiar with the matter told the AP. When we did a search of the vehicle, there was a manifesto that identified many lawmakers and other officials. We immediately made alerts to the state. We took action on alerting them and providing security where necessary. State Patrol Colonel Christina Bogajevic urged people to avoid attending any No Kings protests scheduled for Saturday, citing an abundance of caution. Although no Kings flyers were found in the suspect's car, so I don't think a Trumper then, that on a character in the back there with the braid was saying it was a Trumper, and then Make Orwell Fiction again guy was saying it wasn't a leftist, it wasn't a lefty. I don't know if this was set up or whatever, if they were set up in his car. Although no King's flyers were found in the suspect's car, there is no direct evidence that protests would be targeted. Organizers have since canceled all protests across the state. Okay, so there you go. That took me 1 second to look it up on the internet. That took me 1 second to look that up and read that. And that was Associated Press. So this isn't like Truth Social. This isn't like, Benny Johnson saying this. This is like the official record. Okay, this is the official story. So from official sources. So, and this was back in October. And now that this is all happening with the Somalians and then the Somalian fraud, the Waltz Somalis, the fraud, and now the Hortman case is coming back up. But for so long, after Charlie Kirk's assassination, they were like, what about Melissa Horton? What about no one saying her name? Meanwhile, they won't even say her name because they don't want to look into the fact of what actually the connections were there, that he was Waltz appointed. Like, they're like, oh, he's a Trumper. Also, obviously a Trumper. Why would, if this woman voted with Republicans to not give health care to illegal immigrants, why the fuck would a Trumper target her then? Makes no sense. Sort of like if January 6th was going to occur, with Republicans making decisions that would possibly, delay the certification of the election, why would people who support that breach the Capitol and create that to not happen? Like, it just, when you think about it a little bit more, just doesn't make sense when we talk about motive and, but this girl was just ready to be like, it was a Trumper.
Information.
Out of your ass?
Full information.
Out of your ass.
The man that shot him, dressed like a cop, put on a mask, and went into 2 Democratic senators' houses and another 2 Democratic people's houses. But you're going to try to tell me he's a lefty. He worked for a Democrat.
You're a fucking...
What? He has 3 people yelling at him, talking to him. I mean, he could, not talk and just listen or whatever, but this guy, I'd really like to do a follow-up on him. Like, where is he now? Like, where is he now? What does he think now? What would he have to say about that? He wouldn't talk, he probably wouldn't talk to anybody and give an update, but sure about that now? He's like, okay, like, it's like they just want to they want to say what they want to say, right?
Debate, you would have already had your information.
I don't even have what I'm telling you the information, man.
You're not. You're telling me your opinion.
Okay. There we go. That's great. Okay. So that is posted to my Substack. Great. Okay. We have so much to cover today, and we've already passed the hour mark. So thank you for being here. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, please like and subscribe. Even if you're watching this now, you can like and subscribe. That would be great. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to comment. That always helps with the algorithm. And so we just have to assume that we're not being promoted here at all on YouTube. We have to assume that. So let me just share a couple pieces of information here while we're on the topic of the fascism. Let's go to, I just want to share him as a resource here, Umberto Eco. So he wrote about fascism. Actually, what is the book that he wrote? The Name of the Rose is a film, but what was that book that he wrote about? Hold on. Is this not, am I stuck? Oh. Yeah, sorry, this isn't a good, The Name of the Rose. What's the book that Umberto Eco wrote that is sort of like interesting today that he wrote it? Now, I know XF has said that he takes issue with Roger Griffin and Umberto Eco's assessment of fascism, or like the 14 points of fascism or whatever, because again, fascism was based on the givens of the time. And you could take any of those and apply it. And if you go back to fascism studies, what did he say when it started? So there's a whole body of reasoning and writing about fascism. And so again, we want to sort of separate the content and the thinkers of the time that talked about fascism. And I mean, you really have to be separate the political rhetoric from the content and meaning and accuracy and what is error prone, because a lot of things can be used for political purposes. And that's where I would love to invite people to recognize where they see something on Facebook, they see somebody post something and they know that it's bullshit. I mean, people would look at that post that this guy wrote about the fascism and be like, obviously that's bullshit, but why is it bullshit? Right? Because it's not true. Well, yes, that's why. But some of the other reasons, like if you're actually interested in, again, how ideas move around, and I mean, this is a political thing. So if you're not into this, then, maybe hopefully I would think that if you're watching this, you'd be into this, but political rhetoric is definitely used, right? So that's what the whole Trump is Hitler thing. And this is the dog whistling, and this is the using this to motivate people to get out the vote. I mean, it's really has a lot to do with maintaining power. And one component of fascism would be not having free and fair elections or canceling elections altogether, whatever. And if you look at, actually, I think it's a slippery slope, right? It's if you look at historically with us not having campaign finance reform and how donors and maybe it's more of like an oligarchy plutocracy, where maybe oligarchy is not aristocracy. Okay, we get words wrong here. Okay, we mispronounce things. We do poor impressions. We don't know Roman numerals. Just you get what you pay for. So, but I was looking for something that book that he wrote. But so again, the political rhetoric that is used to, again, motivate people to vote, but how elections are funded, right? And so a candidate that does not have any money to do marketing or advertising or outreach or anything is going to be at a great disadvantage from somebody that has tons of money to spend, right? So in that regard, how can we consider our elections, right? But we have to have trust and faith in our elections because that's part of a democracy, right? So there's that piece, and I think it's muddying the water. So if you want to talk about fascism related to like election integrity, that would be a question, as well as mail-in ballots, as well as the right to protest an election, that you think that the right to voice your concern, right? And you can, the whole thing about January 6th and such. I mean, there's both sides. There's just the Democrats and the messaging here, the anti-Trump rhetoric here is very well set on that there were not legitimate concerns and that it was a legitimate election. And then on the other side, though, you have a whole large group of people, millions that were there, but that did not, even polling suggested at the time. I mean, you can look all this up or, chat GPT it or whatever, but that believe that there were enough anomalies that it would be reasonable for Congress to go ahead and, do something to look into it, to review it. And that would have at least built trust back up in that institution. At least, like, let's just lay it out then. Let's do discovery. Let's lay it out then and convince this large group of the population that has concerns, and we rightfully, those concerns should be protected under the freedom to addressed grievances to the government, right? And freedom of speech and all of that stuff. Obviously, incitement, obviously there's things that are not protected speech, clearly, obviously, but that's already in law. So it either is or it isn't, right? But anyway, so if you want to talk about this political rhetoric, it's important to recognize, I mean, I would even invite the people who want to go ahead and share this rhetoric on Facebook and share the messaging and everything, is to actually maybe make a stronger case. I don't want to make your case for you necessarily, but if you want to make the argument of that, you would have to take a little bit more of a nuanced approach. You couldn't do what that person did that I read earlier. You couldn't do that. You would have to take more of a nuanced approach if you were going to actually be honorable in the conversation. So now I'm going into this. This is not the thing that I wanted to do here. Okay, let's stop screen sharing here. Umberto Eco. Okay, that's what we were looking at there. The thing that I wanted to do was stop sharing there. Let's go to oh, here we go. Here, let's just do this. This is turning out to be a long show. I thought maybe we could just do a shorter one. Oops. Let's go to, but we still have to get to some other content. Okay, this is hilarious. There's so much going on. Okay. Umberto Eco. Oh, I know what I was looking up. Your fascism. That's what I was looking up yesterday. Okay. I wanted to find the book. What is it called that he wrote? No, Utafascism. Is that how you say it? Utafascism? It's UR dash. Okay. Forget it. I'm just going to tell you guys what it is, because I can't find it here. Oh, Foucault's Pendulum. Okay. Umberto Eco, Foucault's Pendulum. Pendulum. Okay. Oh, this is, okay, here we go. Okay. How Foucault's Pendulum Predicts Modern Conspiracy Culture. Umberto Eco wrote this before the internet, before social media, before algorithms, and yet he nails the mechanics almost surgically. Okay, so this is, here we go. It just struck me that Umberto Eco anticipated large language modules when in 1988 he wrote Foucault's Pendulum. A computer is fed every occult manuscript in the world and then directed to generate a fake master conspiracy theory that they can publish and sell to delusional conspiracy theorists. Okay. Belbo, Diotalevi, and Casaubon become submerged in occult manuscripts that draw flimsy connections between historical events, and soon have the idea to develop their own as a game. Using Belbo's personal computer, Abulafia, and Ardenti's manuscript as a foundation, the three create what they call the plan, using a program that rearranges text at random. The plan eventually becomes an intricate web of conspiracy theories about the Templars and their goal to reshape the world using telluric currents, which are focused at the Foucault pendulum. In addition to numerous other historical organizations apparently involved in the plan, the three invent a fictional secret society, the Tre Templi Resurgence equitis synarchici, Latin for the resurgent synarchic knights of the temple. As time passes, the three become increasingly obsessed with the plan, and wonder if it could be true. Okay, I'm not going to keep, because I think that's it on that post there. Yeah. So I like to also use X as like a search engine, just to see what other people are saying recently about some of these people that I am exposed to, that I want to sort of understand a little bit more in the context of what's going on now, or just the history of it or whatever, but just to double check ideas, right? Okay. Now the other person that I wanted to just bring up here is Roger Griffin. So I'll just show him real quick. That's not the person that we're looking for. Whoops. Stop sharing. I know, clickety clack. Don't talk back. Here we go. Roger Griffin. The nature of fascism, modernism and fascism, the sense of a beginning under Mussolini and Hitler, fascism. Okay. Great. So there we go. What else do we have on the docket today? Hag Watch. A year in review. A year in review. Okay. Where do I have? Oh, because I was going to go to my Telegram. Okay. Well, let's see. Because if we're going to do the year in review, we have to go to the Telegram, because that's where some of the content is. Now, I just want to show, we're going to get into the Hag a little bit, just a little bit, but we're going to use the Telegram channel to do that. Okay. Okay. I can't close it in anymore. Well, let's try this out. Let's see if this works. Okay. I don't know if it's actually going to work now that I think about it, because it's in a different window. Oh no. Let's try. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. That's it. That's basically it, guys. That's all I wanted to share, really. Here. Okay. Merry Christmas from Heather Cox Richardson. Okay. 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 All right. Whoop. A year in review. A year in review. I just love that one. Oh yeah, this one. Hold on, guys.
You got the vaccination? Are you okay? I mean, you see, no, it works. Or you know, or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're. No, I really mean it. They're trusted in their locker rooms. Think of the people. If your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon, or whatever, you know, something, or you know, whether those aliens are here or not.
What? Right. Okay. So we got that. That happened. That was not this year. That was not this year. But that was. Oh, this too. Because Howie Mandel just told RFK Jr. that he didn't remember people saying.
The various shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. Yeah.
Okay. There's that. Okay. Oh my gosh, AOC, dude. That's crazy, that whole thing. Okay. Oh, this is hilarious too. Okay.
It's Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up.
said they spelled learning wrong.
Don't open up.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up. We have ice.
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up.
and getting $4 million
Don't
over the
open up. It's ice.
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away.
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away.
Are you in favor of that?
Go away.
You know
You're
what-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegal?
Wait, can you guys not see that? Hold on. Because does that open up in a different thing? Does that open up in a different thing? This is, is this like, no, this is real, guys. Like, like this lady is real. This is not AI.
Illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to the,
Hold on.
Go away.
You know
You're
what-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million.
So I think what I would like to do is try something else. I think what would be cool is if I could, how come I can't, do I have to, is that an extra step? Is that an extra step to do this as the video? Because I feel like I really need to nail this. Sorry guys, we're gonna have to go back and watch, huh? Okay. I see what my problem is. I see what I did. I screen shared the wrong thing. Okay. Well, let's just go back and we'll just watch it again.
Center.
Don't open
They
up.
said they spelled learning wrong.
Don't open up.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up. We have ice.
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up.
and getting $4 million
Don't
over the
open up. It's ice.
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away.
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away.
Are you in favor of that?
Go away.
You know what
You're
it-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you.
going
It's ice.
illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
She's like,
You do
I
realize
belong
that there's supposed to be 99 children here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year. Yeah. You know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah. So who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, but Shirley.
This lady, she's just calling us ICE. We're just trying to...
okay. Very good. That's cool that we did that. Man, this is cumbersome, dude. Like, if I want to play, here's the thing, because otherwise I would have to take these videos and put them like on my Google Drive or something. So did you guys even get to see the good? You're not going to get COVID. Did you guys see that? Oh my gosh, Don Lemon. Okay, let's see, because I just want to see if this is going to work.
The rare.
Yes. Okay, I figured it out now, guys. Okay. Okay. This wasn't last year, but this was.
Shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not gonna get COVID if you have these vaccinations. Yeah.
Right. And so Howie Mandel, RFK Jr. was on Howie Mandel saying, "Oh, nobody said if you get the COVID shot that you are not gonna." Nobody said that. And and Kennedy was like, "Do you want me to play it for you?" That was the clip right there. AOC, dude. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So this is fun. This is fun because I'm doing like my year in review. Yeah. Man, I wish I had that clip of oh God, earlier today or earlier this year, Richardson said something funny about Doge, and she called it doggy. Yeah, it's funny to actually look back on Richardson clips that I've screen recorded and look back on them and see and try and compare. Try and compare with what she's saying today in review. Okay, so we have the Trump as an ADHD warlord. We have that. Oh my gosh, Richardson, dude. Can't even take it. Can't take it. See, I can't play stuff too that is going to be copywritten or whatever it's called. Or whatever it's called. Yeah, whatever it's called. Because YouTube is not going to let me. Maybe we can play a clip of Richardson from earlier this year. Yeah, I think the other part too is that the reason I care is because I think that Richardson definitely crosses the line when it comes to political commentating and being a historian. And I think that it is not right that she presents herself as such. And it's just so obvious. And it feels sort of that way. It feels sort of destabilizing when you're seeing all of these. And we have to remember that, you know, how much of this is actually not real, right? It's this manufactured presentation of popularity or and there is going to be a certain part of the population that is really taking this for real. Yeah, well, I think that we may have done it here. I'm not sure if there's anything else I can find here. I'm doing something that I don't normally do. I don't normally go to my channel and like look through old content So this is sort of definitely something that I should have already had prepared. So, we can go to, why don't we go to a,
It does.
why don't we go to a clip of Richardson and see if we can do that. Whoops.
It does make you wonder, how do you push back against
Pop it in
the visuals? And I don't mean like by literally having your own visuals. A lot of people are doing that. Do you laugh at them? Do you just say this is incredibly stupid? You're gold we know that some of the filigree in the White House appears to have come from Home Depot.
I mean,
you just laugh at them.
That's part of the answer.
It
not the answer to all
The
of
gold
this, but
came-
there's a long-standing
that's what they're talking
tradition in Serbia, where the first
Oh.
people to really use this as a form of activism is using humor and mockery to.
I'm sorry. What did you say about? we know that some of the filigree in the White House appears to have come from Home Depot.
I mean,
you just laugh at them.
That's part of the answer, not the answer to all of this, but there's a long-standing tradition in Serbia where the first people to really use this as a form of activism is using humor and mockery to attack and weaken authoritarians, because authoritarianism and dictators, their power rests on fear. People need to be scared of them. So if you can do things to make people laugh at them, Jimmy Kimmel, then people said,
okay, this is what they tried to do though the first time. They tried to laugh at him the first time. But this is why the left can't eat. So because they're on the wrong side of it. You see, you have to, like, the thing about comedy is that it's rooted in truth. Okay, and so some people, and we're seeing this is like a whole experiment, a psychological experiment. It's like, yes, some people think it's funny that Trump, like, making fun of Trump. Like, some people think that that's funny. Okay. And it's almost like.
Okay, well, we don't want to hear me talk about this. We just wanted to see a clip of Richardson.
On the people that we can convince.
We just wanted to see more clips of Richardson. That's really what we were trying to do. Yeah. I mean, I think we did it, unless we want to go to a dancing White House video. I think we did it. We're almost at the 145 mark. Yeah, tried to do a year in review with some of the content on the channel. So I hope everybody has had a wonderful year. It's been a one. But we have a lot to be thankful for, a lot to look ahead. 2026 is looking out to be pretty interesting. Again, from a political perspective, if you're looking at all those things, there's a lot to look ahead, a lot to do and look ahead. And of course, we are optimistic. There's a lot to be thankful for and a lot to do. And especially in our personal lives, if you have kids, and it's just, the days are long and the years are short, I think that they say, and then just time goes on. And, I find so much fulfillment in sort of thinking about things and recognizing patterns, but also just sort of contemplating and reflecting and thinking about how things fit together and how things aren't in silos. Things are very holistic, and the different categories of knowledge, especially, just different growing up and learning things in school. But again, the different, you have your history and you have your philosophy and your economics and just all the different things, and religion, they all sort of can work together, and how we play a role. And again, like, reflecting back on the things that I have thought about in the past. Like, I was looking at some of my old Instagram posts. I don't really post there. I do post for the podcast on a separate page, but I had a private page, like a personal one, that I had been posting to a little bit more regularly over the years, and then just sort of just stopped and got away from it. And just some of the things, and even some of the blogs that I would blog. I mean, I probably started that when my daughter was little. So over 15 years ago, I started this blog, and I would just write about things that I cared about, and parenting, and sort of like a spiritual journey, and, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, I like reflecting back on how I have changed my thought process and what has changed physically, you know, in life and circumstances and different things, and like how I would say things differently or how I would look at things differently now. But at the time, that is how I, you know, looked at it. You know, that was my perspective. And so it's interesting to reflect back on how our perspectives have changed, and how people, you know, people can, I do like to say, like, people believe what they want. And it's, you know, some people it's hard to, I mean, some people it's hard to change their mind, or it's as a person, you know, it's hard for us to change our beliefs about certain things, right? It's difficult and challenging, and it challenges, you know, and having that discernment, like, is this something that I want to explore? But I think that when you have curiosity for certain things, then that's when you're more able to sort of move through that, and you're able to think more about, you know, is this something that is worth considering? And then what are the different angles and biases and such, and who is creating this messaging, and why should I care? And, you know, we could spend a lot of time on a lot of these things, you know, thinking about things, spending, thinking about thinking, no, but, and then the busyness of life, you know, and I'm definitely a lot older than I was when I had my daughter, when I was younger, of course, you know, 20, like looking back, and the age that I was whenever I was thinking the things that I was thinking about, and my worldview and my perception, and again, my life circumstances, and the things that I considered to be true and valuable and righteous, and the timeline of events, you know, whenever, you know, getting married and having kids, and those different milestones, right? And then just thinking, and then, you know, getting out of the external workforce, and you know, all the things that, you know, home ownership and moving, and then, I mean, just think all the different pieces, you know, and then loss, right? You know, people passing, and again, everything that we've just been through, you know, over the last number of years, and just reflecting on how that impacted my experience and my thought process, and the things that I was interested in, and how circumstances really changed me, and what are the benefits of that? What are the trade-offs, you know, and you know, how sort of I look at things a little bit differently than I have before. And you know, I like some of that stuff, you know, and I sometimes wish, on the other hand, you know, some of the other stuff that I you know, I wish we didn't have to face, you know, like, I wish we didn't have to hold these things, hold these situations, or these truths, or whatever. And sometimes you just want to put the, you know, go back to wake me when it's over, you know. I saw a post the other day on Instagram. I think someone said, like, I used to, you know, get real in the weeds and the rabbit holes and stuff. And I just want to, you know, and kind of pulling back a little bit. And I think that you have periods of that where you can get swept away with information. And especially when we're in these situations of, I mean, when we're seeing it right now, I think with people that are opposing Trump, you know, and that's going to be that's going to be the Democrats' whole platform, is opposing Trump. And we're seeing that, you know, and so it's important to not get into the weeds to where, you know, you're, you know, not able to balance, you know, real life with these stories and this information and stuff like that. But on the other hand, I think that there's absolutely a balance. I think that there's absolutely a way to maintain sovereignty and physicality with integrating it, you know, and how, and what purpose is, you know, what is the purpose of it? What is the meaning, and why is this, you know, and helping people and helping ourselves, just being interested in ideas and just being interested in, why and I feel like I've been like that, and I'm sure you probably can relate, is just being like that as a child, like, why are things the way that they are, and how do things connect? And, we're not just, we are both a speck and meaningful, that we are purpose driven. We're here for a reason, right? Based on your belief system. And, just recognizing those things, and also, this thing about this promotion of kindness and messaging about being kind, right? And I think that's twofold too, because we want to be kind, but we also want to have boundaries. But we also, I think when we talk about, I say, snarkiness and stuff, the humor, even as Freeman was saying, the leftivism and stuff. I mean, that's what we do a lot of that critiquing, and it's silly and funny, and for good reason, So yeah, I think it's making it's making progress, but just having that balance and having that discernment. And we've been through a lot over the years, and a lot of different changes, ups and downs, and it's hard to keep track of everything. It's hard to focus on, everything. And so just picking pieces here and there that stimulate the mind to really sort of make new neural pathways and create new thoughts, and sort of, but recognizing, again, like, is any thought new, and then also having that optimism and saying that, we're here for a reason, and everything's going to be okay. And, this is, I believe that this is in God's hands in that sense. And we're all here to make connections, and, always come back. I'm going to sound like Marianne Williamson here, because I'm a critic of her, and we've deconstructed her work here, but, a return to love. So it's like, doing that criticism and that critique and stuff, and then coming back to love, and it's just like boom, 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 and it's like we feel our pain, and, we're going through emotions, and we're witnessing things, and we're experiencing things, and things are coming up for us. And then we're back to, being grateful, and, taking things seriously, but not too seriously. And, things are a game. You could make the case that, things aren't a game, of course, but in another way, things are games. And just going with the flow in that way, and finding things that you feel are honorable and of integrity, and consistently true. So I hear some bustling out there. Got to get to the kids. So I hope everybody has a blessed new year. Happy 2026 coming up, wherever you are in the world. It's 1:30. So on the other side of the pond they're already ahead of us. So we're on the East Coast here. So it's only about 1:30. So festivities will not begin for a while. So, but anyway, I hope everybody has a blessed day, a blessed start to your year. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time.